Did you know that many older adults drink water in ways that can quietly harm their health? You might be wondering, how complicated can drinking water really be? The truth is, as we age, the way our bodies handle hydration changes in subtle but powerful ways. And what worked perfectly in your 40s or 50s could now be placing hidden strain on your heart, kidneys, or digestive system, often without you feeling it right away. That's what makes this topic so surprising. In this video, we're going to reveal 6 common water drinking habits that nearly every older adult falls into, but absolutely should avoid. These habits might seem harmless, even normal, but once you understand the science and the real impact they can have, you may never look at a glass of water the same way again. Stay with me until the very end, because you'll not only learn what to stop doing, you'll also understand why avoiding these habits matters so much more now than it ever did before. And if you're between 60 and 80 and want to stay sharp, strong, and steady, these are habits you simply cannot afford to ignore. Number 1. Drinking only when you feel thirsty. One of the most widespread yet misleading habits among older adults is waiting until you feel thirsty before drinking water. At first glance, it sounds perfectly reasonable. Your body signals thirst, so you drink. Simple, right? But after 60, the body's ability to detect thirst starts to decline. That "I'm thirsty" signal often comes later than it should, or sometimes doesn't come at all. The result? You can be mildly or even chronically dehydrated without realizing it. You might assume you're getting enough fluids simply because you don't feel thirsty, but in reality, your body could already be struggling. Dehydration in older adults. Dehydration in older adults doesn't always show up as a dry mouth or an overwhelming sense of thirst. More often, it appears in subtle ways: fatigue that lingers, sudden dizziness, brain fog that makes it harder to focus, or even constipation. And most people never think to trace these symptoms back to something as simple as not drinking enough water. I once knew a man named Walter, 74, who told me, "I don't feel thirsty much, so I guess I don't need to drink as much anymore." But he was constantly tired, and his blood pressure seemed to fluctuate for no clear reason. When he finally decided to start drinking water steadily throughout the day, without waiting for the thirst signal, his energy improved more than he ever imagined. As we get older, staying hydrated isn't just about reacting to thirst. It's about building a steady rhythm. A cup in the morning, another mid-morning, more in the afternoon, and some in the evening. This simple routine nourishes your body before any symptoms appear. Think of water as essential medicine for your organs. Your brain, joints, kidneys, and digestive system all depend on it. So, don't wait until you're parched, dizzy, or fatigued. If you're in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, by the time you feel thirsty, you're already playing catch-up. Drink on a schedule, not just when your body sends a signal. Number 2, drinking too much water at once. Another common mistake older adults make is trying to catch up on their water intake all at once. You might realize late in the day that you haven't had enough, so you gulp down a full glass or two before dinner, or even worse, right before bed. But here's the problem. The body, especially after 60, doesn't handle large volumes of water the way it once did. When you take in too much in a short time, your kidneys have to work harder to process that sudden flood. This can flush out important electrolytes, put added strain on your heart, and cause discomfort, like bloating, nausea, or an urgent need to rush to the bathroom. That urgency at night can interrupt your sleep or even lead to dangerous falls. There's also a lesser-known risk called water intoxication. While it's rare, it becomes more likely in older adults, especially those taking medications that affect sodium levels, if they drink excessive amounts of water too quickly. The balance of fluids inside your cells is delicate, and overwhelming your system with too much water at once can throw that balance off, sometimes in dangerous ways. I remember a woman named Ruth, 78, who, Ruth 78, prided herself on drinking 6 full glasses of water every day. The problem? She drank them all in the afternoon, one after another. She often felt uncomfortably full, unusually tired, and sometimes even lightheaded. but she couldn't figure out why. Once she switched to drinking smaller amounts spread evenly throughout the day, everything began to change. Her digestion became smoother, her sleep improved, and that strange lightheadedness completely disappeared. Think of hydration the same way you think about breathing. It should be steady, consistent, and natural. Not rushed, not extreme. A few sips every hour or two will do far more for your body than chugging large amounts all at once just because you remembered. Your organs, especially as you age, appreciate calm, balanced care, not sudden overload. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights helpful, please type number 2 in the comments below so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I highly recommend you do and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our videos. Your support is what allows us to keep creating valuable, reliable content to inform and inspire you. Number 3. Avoiding water before bed or during the night. Many older adults make the conscious choice to stop drinking water in the evening, and honestly, it's easy to understand why. Nobody wants to wake up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom. And no one wants to risk stumbling in the dark and possibly falling. So the habit forms. No water after dinner, no water before bed, no water until the morning. But here's what most people don't realize. Over time, this seemingly harmless habit can quietly raise your risk for much more serious issues, especially heart strain and early morning dehydration, which is a known trigger for strokes and cardiac events in older adults. The truth is, your body loses water overnight, through breathing, through sweat, and simply through normal metabolic processes. And if you go to bed already slightly dehydrated, you'll wake up even more depleted. I once spoke with Sam, 82, who had been told by a friend, "Stop drinking water after 7, or you'll be up all night." So he did. At first, it seemed fine, but after a while, he began waking up dizzy, with a dry mouth and a pounding heartbeat. His doctor eventually discovered that mild but steady overnight dehydration was to blame. The simple solution? A small glass of water before bed. The change was almost immediate. His dizziness eased, his mornings felt better, and even his energy improved. Now, to be clear, this doesn't mean you need to drink a full glass before sleep. Before bed, yes, limiting liquids can help reduce those unwanted nighttime trips to the bathroom. But cutting off water completely in the early evening often does more harm than good. The real key is balance. Sip small amounts during the evening. Keep a small cup of water on your nightstand so that if you wake up with a dry mouth, you can take a gentle sip without overloading your system. Train your bladder gradually, not by depriving your body of the hydration it still needs. Your organs don't stop working just because you're asleep. Your brain still relies on water to process and restore itself. Your heart continues to pump, and your kidneys keep filtering. They all require hydration to do their jobs safely and efficiently, even at night. Sometimes, just a few sips after brushing your teeth can make a big difference. Avoiding water at night might seem like it's protecting your sleep, but it could quietly be taking away from your health in ways you won't notice right away. CEA. The solution isn't to eliminate, it's to moderate and time your intake wisely. Number 4. Replacing water with tea, coffee, or juice. One habit that often slips unnoticed into the daily routines of many older adults is substituting plain water with other drinks like tea, coffee, or fruit juice. On the surface, they seem like fine alternatives. They're liquids, they quench thirst, and they add flavor. For many, they've been part of a comforting routine for decades. But here's the problem. While they may satisfy thirst temporarily, they don't give your body the pure hydration it truly needs. Take tea and coffee, for example. Both contain caffeine, a natural diuretic, which means they cause your body to lose water more quickly. That morning cup may feel warm and soothing, but behind the scenes, it can quietly drain more fluid from your system than it replaces. Over time, even with what feels like enough to drink, your body may still be running low on true hydration. And then there's juice. It may seem like the healthier option, and in small amounts it can be. But most store-bought juices are loaded with sugar. When large amounts of sugar enter your bloodstream, it actually draws water out of your cells. That's why some people feel oddly thirstier or even a bit bloated after drinking juice. I once met George and Evelyn, a couple in their 70s, who proudly drank orange juice with every meal. "We thought we were being healthy," George admitted. Yet both were dealing with fluctuating blood sugar, persistently dry skin, and nagging headaches. Once they replaced just 2 of their daily juice servings with plain water, they were amazed by the difference. Their heads felt clearer, cravings faded, and their energy levels noticeably improved. Water works in a completely different way. It doesn't compete with your organs or demand extra processing. Instead, it quietly supports your entire system. It helps carry nutrients to where they're needed, flushes out waste, regulates body temperature, and cushions your joints. Nothing else does all of that as effectively, not even herbal teas. You can still enjoy your morning coffee, sip on tea, or treat yourself to an occasional glass of juice. But remember, those beverages should be counted as extras, not as your main source of hydration. Your body still needs the real thing, clean, unflavored water, consistently, day after day, to function at its best. Number 5. Not drinking water during meals. Somewhere along the way, a popular myth began to circulate that drinking water with meals is harmful to digestion. Maybe you've heard it too. It dilutes your stomach acid, or it weakens digestion. Because of this belief, many older adults have trained themselves to avoid water completely while eating, pushing their glass aside even when they feel thirsty. But here's the truth. Drinking small amounts of water with meals can actually help your digestion. It softens food for easier swallowing, assists in breaking it down, and supports your stomach as it processes nutrients. The body is remarkably intelligent. It adjusts the acidity of your digestive juices automatically based on what you consume. A few sips of water will not undo this balance. In fact, they can make the process smoother and more comfortable. Research even shows that mild hydration during meals can improve nutrient absorption. It can also create a gentle feeling of fullness, which helps prevent overeating, a valuable benefit as metabolism naturally slows with age. I once knew a man named Larry, 75, who proudly told me he ate every lunch completely dry because he didn't want to weaken his stomach acid. But he often struggled to swallow, experienced recurring heartburn, and felt sluggish after meals. When he finally began drinking just half a glass of room-temperature water with his meals, his digestion noticeably improved. "I feel lighter now," he told me, "and I'm not choking on dry food anymore." That's the key. Balance. You don't need to gulp down a full glass while eating, but having water within reach, taking small, steady sips, and staying gently hydrated during your meal can actually help your digestion, not harm it. Skipping water at mealtimes might feel like a wise choice, especially if it's advice you've heard for years. But in reality, it's a habit that can quietly work against your body's natural rhythm. When you hydrate while nourishing yourself, you're giving your body exactly what it needs to process and absorb food effectively. Number 6. Drinking cold water instead of room temperature. One subtle but surprisingly impactful habit many older adults hold on to is drinking ice-cold water, especially on hot days or right after physical activity. It feels incredibly refreshing in the moment, no doubt. But for seniors, regularly choosing cold water over room temperature might be quietly interfering with digestion, circulation, and even your body's ability to regulate itself effectively. Here's why. As we age, digestion naturally slows. Blood vessels become more sensitive, and the body's internal thermostat isn't quite as sharp as it once was. When you introduce very cold water into this more delicate system, your body has to work harder to warm it up. This extra effort can slightly delay digestion, cause blood vessels to constrict, and even leave you feeling chilled or sluggish, not just in your mouth, but down through your chest and into your stomach. I once met a woman named Doris, 81, who kept a pitcher of ice water next to her recliner every single day. She drank it with every meal, believing it was the healthiest, most refreshing choice. But she was often bloated and sometimes even experienced chills, even in the middle of summer. Her doctor suggested a simple experiment, switching to room temperature water for just 1 week. The results were remarkable: less bloating, greater comfort after meals, and a body that no longer felt like it was constantly fighting off a chill. Room temperature water works with your body instead of against it. It moves more gently through your digestive system, supports nutrient absorption, and helps keep blood circulation steady, something especially important if you live with conditions like arthritis, diabetes, or heart disease. It doesn't shock your organs, doesn't constrict your blood vessels, and doesn't force your body to divert precious energy to warm it up. Now, this doesn't mean you can never enjoy a cold drink again. A refreshing sip after gardening, a walk outdoors, or on a hot afternoon can feel wonderful in moderation. But when it comes to your regular daily hydration, especially with meals or first thing on an empty stomach, room temperature water is often the wiser, more supportive choice. It's a tiny shift, one most people overlook. Yet for older adults, this small change can lead to fewer digestive upsets, steadier energy levels, and less strain on a body that's already working a bit harder with age. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss future videos. Your support helps us continue creating meaningful content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Final thoughts. By the time we reach our 60s, 70s, or 80s, our bodies no longer handle water the same way they did in our younger years. Yet most people never adjust their hydration habits. They continue following the same patterns they always have, unaware that these small everyday choices could be quietly draining your health and energy without you even realizing it. Today, we've explored 6 common water habits that so many older adults fall into: waiting until you're thirsty, drinking too much at once, avoiding water at night, relying on flavored drinks instead of plain water, skipping hydration during meals, and always choosing ice-cold water over room temperature. On the surface, each of these habits might seem harmless, but together, they slowly chip away at the one thing your body depends on every single day: steady, consistent hydration that truly supports your health. The best part? Every single one of these habits is easy to change. You don't need fancy equipment, complicated schedules, or strict tracking. What you need is gentle awareness, a mindful shift in timing, a commitment to sip throughout the day, and a conscious choice to make water your partner in health rather than an afterthought. So, let me ask you, of all these habits, which one surprised you the most? Which one have you been doing for years without even noticing? And what small change can you commit to this week that could boost your energy, improve your digestion, and support your overall well-being? Sometimes, it's not the big overhauls that make the difference. It's the quiet, consistent steps we choose each day. Thank you for spending this time with us. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and share one thing you've learned today and how you plan to put it into practice. Your stories inspire us, and reading your comments motivates us to keep creating valuable content for you. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with others. Your support makes it possible for us to continue providing content that informs, encourages, and inspires. Wishing you abundant health, lasting happiness, and peaceful days ahead. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss the tips that help you live your best life.